Sometimes when you guys are just shouting, we've gotten to a point where we can mute you in our minds, and then you get to us, but we just so done with you that we're not going to learn anything from whatever you're saying. Because of your anger. The thing about it is the comfortability that your child will have towards you comes from the smallest things. Can I trust my mother with the smallest thing? Can I talk to her with the smallest thing? Like, oh mama, something like that. Like, how did they, parents are really like, hey, when don't tell me about that, don't tell me about heartbreak, you don't even know anything about that.
Teenager said this to me, Auntie Lindy, you can shout, you can scream, you can fast, you can pray, but then if a teenager wants to do something, they will find a way to do that thing. Hello, my name is Lindy Sherris. Welcome to my world where I share my truth. In today's video, I'm not going to share my truth, but I will let a teenager talk to us as parents and tell us some of the things that we do to hurt them, the words that we use to hurt them, the things that we are missing and actually not aligned with them. This is just to bridge the gap between teenagers and parents, and I advise every parent to watch this video.
Hi Bukamosa, thank you so much for agreeing to do this, and I know this is a serious topic, and I think we need to bridge the gap between the parents and the teenagers. I have a teenager and I am struggling to have conversations with her, and the ways that I use are always wrong, and I am coming from that generation when we used to clap, we used to being clapped, and now I want to clap someone but I can't, but obviously they'll take me to a police station. So first thing first, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Bukamosola Takhumo and I am 18 years old and I'm a teenager ready to talk about what's really going on out there with parents and teenagers.
I cannot wait to get into your head so that you can make this easy for us. So the first thing that I want to ask, this is your first question. So have we as parents created a safe space for you guys to talk about anything? I know we always say, you can talk to me about anything, but then I don't think we're ready for the truth. So let's start with dating. At what age do you think we should let you guys date? Because at the moment I'm hearing kids from primary school, 12 years old, 13 years old are dating. And at what age can we expect you guys to start dating?
Okay, so the dating that happens in primary, it is not serious. We can actually distinguish us as teenagers like Arjun, exactly, it was just me getting sweets and chocolates. But now as I'm seeing, that's when I was in primary, but now as I'm seeing as people are growing, because the media exposes us to so much, where they're doing so much more than what they're actually ready for. So I think what parents need to do is take the initiative to sit down with their kids from a young age. Number one, first conversation needs to be in primary. So are you dating? Have you been dating? What do you think dating is? And then kind of just provoke their thoughts to make them think further about what dating is. And if you're a Christian mom, especially, going to the word is going to help you, especially if your child is walking in their faith. If they're not really there, then it is better that you just provoke their thoughts and make them understand the importance of dating. Appropriate age, for me, I personally think when you're able to stand on your own. But now times have changed, right? So I think it goes with how mature your child is. Luana, you'll see them. Actually, how do you think, and how is their dating? What is their dating? Is it sleeping with the person? Is it going out on dates, just having a really good friendship that becomes more romantic, or what is it? So I think defining dating among even a parent and a child will really pave the way for how a child dates, number one, because at the end of the day, like you said, they will go and date whether you want them to or not. So rather to lead them the right way than to leave them to walk their own life and then be led astray. So I think 16 going upwards is when you can really start provoking those, but it's crazy because sexual intercourse, we are taught all of that in primary already, and kids are already doing it in primary. So as times go on and as we grow and as generations come in, you're gonna have to start lowering the age more and more. That's the scary part about it.
So what happens if maybe not even a teenager, a young one, 13-year-old says I'm dating? and at the same time we're trying not to scare them. We want them to come to us.
Yes.
What do we do in that situation?
Okay, I think be very light about it. You're dating. Oh, okay. Well, how, like, who is this person? How do you feel about them? Ask them about their feelings first. What is dating to them, and what provoked this dating? How did it happen? And then get to the point where you start to become serious. Because I think parents, their first approach is, hey, you're dating. No. It's already serious and so intense that we're just like, mom does not understand me. Mom doesn't understand what I'm going through or whatever. And we then become so introverted in a situation where it could have been easily fixed. Or even, I think the trick is allowing your child to know that they can date in front of you. That's where you can have control. Because if they're scared to come to you, they're going to do it behind your back, and then that's where things go wrong. So give them that permission of, okay, what is dating? Guide them, be like, oh no, but like, you can't do this, limit this, know your worth, whatever. And give the girl, the do's and don'ts, and explain the do's and don'ts, because parents just say don't do it, but they don't explain further why. What happens if I do this? So explain the do's and don'ts, and then allow them to have the free space to date in front of you. Not to disrespect you, of course, but to date in front of you. Like, mom, please drop me off at the mall, we're going for a movie. That is then when you can have the control to be like, okay, now at this time I'm coming to fetch you. That even the boy knows that, okay, yeah, Mamang's mother is coming to fetch us, so we need to be prompt.
Yeah, no. This is going to be difficult because I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, I was going to say no. Obviously she's obviously not going to tell me more after that.
Never.
And then the rape issue, I know it's happening everywhere. Sometimes it's relatives, at school it's happening, at parties, these wild parties, they scare me so much that I don't want my daughter to go to these parties. So how do we deal with rape? Do you feel safe to talk to us about rape? What's the best way to just communicate the serious matters, like where mama cannot shout at me, like, what can we do as parents to communicate that?
I think starting from sexual assault already, before it even gets to rape, it is so difficult because you experience shock. You really don't know where to go, what to say. You always think, I think child line services, you learn about it at school and it sounds so floozy and okay until you go through it. Then you're just like, this, it doesn't hit you until later, and that trauma sits with you for so long, and you wonder if I cannot. The thing about it is that the comfortability that your child will have towards you comes from the smallest things. Can I trust my mother with the smallest thing? Can I talk to her with the smallest thing? Like, oh mama, something like that. Like, how did they, parents are really like, hey, when don't tell me about that, don't tell me about heartbreak, you don't even know anything about that. So already with the smallest things that are light, where you guys can joke and get that bond with your child, they will be able to be like, my mom will fight for me no matter what. My mom will stand with me no matter what. So you know what, I need to tell her that something happened. Or at least there's always that one friend in the friendship circle, her, she's like your daughter's right hand person. Everything that happens, they get into trouble together, they go wherever together, that person at the end of the day is also your daughter, and you can get to her and speak to her, and she will be more comfortable being like, I think you should check up on whatever, because that environment that you've created for both of them being around you, friends are very vital in your child's life. And so if you create an environment around your child and their friends where they feel like, I know, Baka's mom is very nice, she's very warm, my friends can talk to my mom about stuff, but me, I'm just like, why would you go to her about that? But she's created that environment, so show your daughter that I can do that. And then I think that gives a more, it eases the person up to be like, this is what really happened, because it's not easy. It's not at all.
So what codes, like, okay, so obviously maybe you get a WhatsApp message saying mama something, and then I get that from my daughter, like most of the time, like every week I'll get such a WhatsApp. So how do I differentiate between this one is serious? And most of the time when she sends, it's either I'm in a meeting or doing something or recording videos or trying to cook. And obviously I won't take that serious. So how do we find a way to control, to say,
this is intense. I think it goes again with your bond. Creating a bond is creating those secret investigative things with your child. It's, mom, code blue means I'm really in trouble. And then code black means I need you to fetch me. Like, you can be angry and whatever, but I need you to be calm and just fetch me at this place. I'm stranded. Such things where you sit down, you be like, okay, let's create a code, make it fun, for your daughter to, and make it comfortable. Like, you can say this so that she doesn't really have to explain on the text, because sometimes we're scared to text you guys what's really going on. So if we just at least give you a code, you have an understanding of the level intensity of the situation, and then you will deal with it accordingly. So I think codes like that, words, keywords, whatever that you guys can create with each other, can give more of a, okay, this is where I can trust my mom in this area, because she always comes through.
That's a good one, Mugamo. So I think I'll record a separate video where we can help parents how to create, like, we can just find something and be creative in creating these codes. So what are the right or wrong things that we are doing that makes us not to create a safe environment?
Number one is, we tell you something, and most of the time it will even have to do with a friend or a boy, and we tell you something, and that day you are so understanding, you are so calm, you're giving advice, it's nice, and then we do something that makes you angry, then you use it against us. It's one of the most manipulative things a parent can do to a child. It is the worst, because we hate manipulative friends already. So that's one thing, that we have friends around us that we keep, that we're like, no, I don't take that. So now when your parent does it, you can't be like, I don't take that, because that's your parent. But it starts to then break them as a person. Like, I cannot trust this woman with anything, literally anything. So that's one of the things. Just using things against us is it's very sad, and it really does break us as teenagers. Another thing I think is words, right? You guys really just say things sometimes, like, me, even an example, one thing I remember, I had a competition, and my mom said she didn't even realize what she was saying, because it wasn't even anything hectic, but I'm supposed to keep to myself a lot when I'm going to compete. And she said something like, she was so angry, she was shouting, then she said, you're so loose, and I was just like, and to many it would be like, come on, get over it. But that was just one word that I just didn't understand, because I do everything that to me is pure, is right. It's things that I've been taught through the word, through you. So I'm loose just because I was around people when you wanted me in the house to be isolated or whatever, when I just wanted a break. So it's like, you could have really used like different words to kind of get your message across, but parents really just utter words. And that's why for a parent, I think they're shouting, but then there is really when you're angry and you know that here I'm just so angry. When we say walk away, right, it's not a matter of you look weaker, you look whatever, but there are times where really you guys are just so angry with us, and whatever that comes to mind is going to come out. And there's, I think, the best decision in that moment is to just look at your child, be like, I will deal with you later. Really, it doesn't take away from the fact your child will still feel it the rest of the day. Will not be content. Yes, we may go chill with our friends, but we know when we get home we need to have a serious conversation with mom, because I did this and this and this. It also allows us to think like, yo, what did I do that made us so angry? It makes us think. Sometimes when you guys are just shouting, we've gotten to a point where we can mute you in our minds, and then you get to us, but we just so done with you that we're not going to learn anything from whatever you're saying.
Yo, I want to stop.
Because of your anger.
Yo, this is deep, because was it yesterday or day before yesterday, I said to my daughter, she did something wrong, and then I said to her, and then she stopped thinking about whatever she did, and then she said, Mama, and the focus was on that.
Exactly.
I apologize after 1 hour or 2 hours, realizing that I actually had to, and she says it all the time to her friends, to her sisters, but then me saying it to her, it was so personal and sad. I had to apologize. yeah, this video. It's much needed.
Yeah, it's vital.
So I recently went to a memorial service of a teenager who committed suicide. And then he didn't leave notes. Okay, he actually left notes for the friends at school, but he didn't actually say to the parents why he did it. So I want us to go there. Why would a teenager first kill themselves? So I already know about the demons. I already know about living in a
Spiritual
world, in a world where it's sinful. But then, how are we contributing as parents to a point where your child would just kill themselves and not even leave a note and leave notes, love notes to the friends?
Yeah, and not the parents.
Not the parent.
The child basically never had a relationship with their parents. And it's sad because we think just because mother and father, that's a relationship. It's not. Or daughter and mother, daughter and father, son and father. It's not a relationship. It's just a term, right? A relationship, there's so much work that needs to be put, especially with children. I mean, we experience bullying in so many ways. In so many ways at school, in so many ways in our friendship circles. You wonder, you'll be sitting with your child and then she just starts crying. Just starts crying out of nowhere, and you wonder why is she crying, what's going on? And as parents, it's and then we're not lalang, and then what's wrong with you? Like, there's nothing, as if there's nothing for you to be crying about. Like, why are you crying? And you don't know what she has carried from school, what she has carried from her transport, what she has carried from going to that shop, what she has carried. I mean, we deal with so many insults every day from teachers, from parents, from teenagers, other teenagers that don't like you, from social media. And I think one thing that parents forget to do, because they expect their children to know this, is affirm them. And by how I really found it so sad how teenagers want to go and download affirmation apps, just for an app to remind them that they're beautiful, an app to remind them that you're a conqueror, you can do this, you're victorious, you're smart, you're able to receive whatever or get what you want to get. Like, your parents don't tell us that. You guys only tell us that when we get our award, like, well done, I'm proud of you. But what about a random I'm proud of you just when you come back from school? Like, I'm proud of you, you went through school today and you did what you had to do. How was it? And it gets so awkward. I remember my mom tried it with my brother and I. She'd just be like, so how was school, guys? And we're like, why is she asking us that? Because we're not used to that. We're not used to that. You ask us how school was, what we're doing at school. To us, it's never been your business, because you never made it your business and we never made it your business. So we don't bother to tell you. And so much, I think parents need to understand that 80% of our lives revolve around everything outside of home. 80% of our lives, 20% is home. So a lot of the things that we feed on, a lot of the things that we experience, if we experience the beatings outside of the house and then we come in the house and experience the same beatings, we're most likely to be pushed over the edge. Most likely.
Yeah. Okay. Give more practical examples of simple things that we can do. Like,
okay,
say we should spend more time with you guys. How? Like,
yeah.
What would you like, especially maybe if we take it to you? What would you like your mom to do?
Yeah.
To make sure that you guys are close.
So I've seen, like, with some mutual friend, that her family, they have money, they're good, whatever, but her family, she'll literally tell you, I prefer my family over my friends. That I've never heard that. It is so rare to find that. And I was like, why? Because no matter how busy, no matter how whatever, the parents one day in a week, they all go out for family lunch or family dinner, and then one weekend in a month or 2 months they go on a trip for 2 days. Anyway, wherever they decide, it can literally even be like Limpopo, but they'll go and then they're all just there, and it can be with cousins or whatever, or it can just be them. And then she's like, she loves her younger brother's way younger than her, like, but she enjoys his company like nobody else. And we don't have those experiences with our siblings, because our siblings grow, they want to be with their friends because it's so cool with friends, and then we're like, we want to be with our friends, and then parents are like, I'm busy, I'm on the laptop, I have meetings, stop, leave me alone, you cook, you do that, and then it's like, okay, I have my responsibilities, as long as I've done my chores, I can leave the house finally. This is actually what we say at school, like, we're making plans, and we're like, yo friend, let me just do my chores, I know she won't have anything to say to me. So imagine if she actually had something to say and was, oh, let's go for lunch, or oh, I saw this quad biking thing, let's go do it, or let's go get ice cream, guys, let's go sit at Starbucks, what's up, what's going on, what would you like to do this month, and then support each other in the smallest plans. I've been procrastinating to do my learners, but like, sometimes I'm like, that I really wish my mom would just like give that push, because she's just like, you're not doing it, okay, that's the thing. But I understand that, and it's always a comparison that parents make, like, when I was growing up, but it's like, it worked for you then because there wasn't anything else that you knew out of that. So we know that there are actually families that spend time like that, and I always say, I'm like, don't pressure us to sit at the table, right? Pressure us, don't pressure us to sit at the table, all of us. Sometimes we're awkward, and that will never make us bond. Don't force a bond. Pressure us to go hiking with you, hiking for an hour. Pressure us to do things as simple as that, to go swim, to go play netball at the court, just try it out. But our parents are just so busy that they forget that we need that as much as they do.
I am also busy, and now I'm just part of those parents who are just guilty, and I'm sure most parents right now are saying, I am also guilty. Okay, last question, because I don't want this to drag. I think we'll create another video part two. Yeah, so when is the appropriate age to stop hitting your child?
Parents are gonna attack me here. Oh my gosh, I could be lying.
Is it even right to hit a child?
I think yes, to a certain extent, yes. I mean, you spare a rod, you spoil a child, right? I understand that scripture completely, because there are really certain things that it only gets in our heads once 2 by 8, and that's the truth. Kids need to be honest, right? But then I think when you get to high school, grade 8 going upwards, it needs to slowly stop. Like, just tune a bit, like, okay, it happens a bit less, because what happens is, I think also, especially for parents that are raising sons, right, they think hitting, the same way they hit a girl, they can hit their child. But one thing that I learned from my granny, she always said, you can never raise a son the way you raise a daughter, mainly because if you backhand your daughter, she'll forever have that thing of, I don't want to fight back. But there are daughters that do. They get to a point where, I'm my own person, I'm my own lady, I'm growing up to be my own woman. How can I stand for this in the house? And then out there, I'm going to stand for it too. There are some people who have that type of like knowledge or understanding of how they are as people. And then there's some daughters who, they always know that if my mom backhands me, I will never retaliate back. Right? And for those daughters that I've spoken to that are my friends, it gets to a point where they stop looking at their parents the same. It's like, yo, how do I even face you? You hurt me. Like, I know what I did was wrong, but like, slap me, fine, I get it. You slapped me, it's done. One slap. two, maybe. When you get to a point where you, because your parents' anger boils up, especially if we're not giving the answers that you guys want at that moment, it increases, and then you keep hitting, and we just don't know what to say anymore. We just feel like everything we're gonna say is just gonna be wrong. And that's when we genuinely break inside. It breaks us. My friend, her dad has picked her up and threw her. He's a man. He doesn't understand his strength to what extent, and she's a girl, so it's that thing of but I'm 18, like, how are you? This hurts me. It breaks me completely. And then there's guys, one day when you backhand him, he will backhand you back, not in the way that he wants to disrespect you or hurt you. He won't even realize that he did it, but it's because he's a guy. It's his reflex to hit back. So I think for parents, for me, I think starting from high school, they just need to learn how to speak more than hit. Or if they hit, they really just need to stick to a belt and not hands. Physical hands makes it so much more personal. That touch really does affect you as an individual. So I think, because my friends would be like, I haven't gotten hit since primary, and they always look at me and they're like, but you're the good child. It's sometimes even sad when you sit around a lot of friends who are stout, man. That Libana, they know that I'm stout, but then you hear that this one was stout, but Asanka, like, I bet you the way I've been hit, I don't understand. I don't even do half of the things that they do. And then you also start to see that, okay, but my character and there's a difference. Is it the hitting? Right? I understand disciplining because we can be out of order. But I think the vital thing is to speak on something and allow your child, give your child the opportunity to make it better. Before you act out.
I think I'll get a professional on this one to advise more.
Yeah,
because it looks like we do need more help from them. So what words of wisdom or advice do you have, first for teenagers, second for parents?
You're your children's heroes, and what you do, we actually imitate. So if you are a wapakada, and we've seen it, wapakada ledicho, mili, mang, can be your spouse, can be whatever, your child will pakana other children. Like, it will be so easy for that to come out. So parents, I know being a parent is probably one of the hardest things ever, but your character speaks so much to us. You are a living guide on how we should be as people. So words, actions, time, affirmations, all of that will really molds us as teenagers. So I think be very aware of yourself as a parent. And then for teenagers, try to understand your parents. To a certain extent, they teach what they know best, and sometimes we need to be the teachers. And in teaching, patience needs to be something that teenagers don't have. Patience, we lack patience, and we just need to be more patient with our parents. We just need to be more understanding and more vocal in a respectful way, but more vocal. I don't think it's okay for you to sit in your sorrows and just keep quiet when there is a mother in the house. It is not okay. So try your best to be vocal and make them understand that me being vocal, I'm really taking a huge step. It's not easy. It can be uncomfortable the first few times, but I think giving it a shot is better than you just refraining from it completely.
All right. Thank you so much, Bukamoso.
Thank you.
Cheers. Am I a bad comment? No, that TikTok.
Yeah.
it looks like actually we have a lot of work to do, both parents and teenagers. And thank you so much, because for the first time I feel like I've learned something from you. And I'm sure most parents abazobukela this video, they're also going to learn, and this is not going to stop. We are going to record part 2, creating the codes, so that we get it right. Because we really want to understand you, and we just don't know how. And thank you so much for allowing me to shoot you.
Thank you. To record.
Hey, Bantu education.
It's okay. This is